I'm going to start yelling at people now, like, hello, hi, everybody. We all good? We all had a good week? Don't all shout at once, it's fine. It's fine. I know what it's like, it's the depressing January time, it's all good. We're used to it. Yes, it's just absolute. My mum walked in for my daughter's birthday yesterday and she was like, oh, and I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, your house is actually cold. And I'm like, Mum, it's because I can't afford to heat it at the moment. No one can, that's why. And she's like, oh. Like it was some magic thing, because my house is apparently always hot. So she underdresses when she comes round. She wears summer stuff in winter because it's so hot in her. Now she's just like, but she couldn't wear her coat because my cat was laying on it. Because she decided that was a comfy spot, and the cat's house, I just live in it rent through, apparently. So, yeah, we're all good. I have the lovely Andrew with me again, yay, woo! We're all good. Has everyone put any people in the hymn book that they need? No? Okay. Next order of business, phones on silent, please. If you have a phone, put it on silent. Yeah. Yeah, if you've got a phone, pop it on silent for me. So that mine's on, so you won't hear the Thunderbirds theme, it's all good. I've upgraded from Ghostbusters to Thunderbirds because I felt like I needed a bit of inspiration to get moving and get up in the morning. We're all good. Right, I'm just going to ask if you could do an opening in any way you want to do it.
Of course.
That would be great.
Friends, I'd invite you to join me in an opening prayer if you wish to. Dear Father, God, Spirit, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as like-minded souls in this beautiful sanctuary this evening. I'd ask that as the veil between the two worlds be drawn back, that my guides and spirit helpers be allowed to come forward to enable me to work with your loved ones in truth, love and light, that we may deliver the messages of hope and proof of life after life to those who need to receive it today. Amen.
Thank you. Amazing. Right, as always, I have the healing book here, and I'm just going to read out the names in it. I'm just going to take a moment just to send out some nice healing thoughts and a bit of love their way, because everybody needs that right now. Great Spirit, we give thanks for the blessings that we've already received and those that are still to come. But once again, we ask that special healing and love be sent to all those in need of it, both human and animal, and those named below. The healing list is Pat, Parker and Abby, Wendy, Darren, Dougie, AC, Jan, Christina, Karen, Ryan, Brian, Tilly, Robert, Sam, Sue, Nikki, Roy, Maureen, Jenny and Andy. So if we just take a moment to think of them, that would be great. That's great, thank you very much. I have got to stop trying to stand on one leg like a flamingo when I do that, because it is not good and I get very wobbly. One of these days I'm just going to be like on the floor in silence. I was wondering what to read out tonight, and I came across this article. It's a little story of this lady, and it's just a nice, hopeful little story, which is what everybody needs right now, isn't it? Because apparently January is officially the most depressing month of the year. And it's all that, like, the happiness and the joy and the laughter of Christmas gives way to, like, ugh. And this is a little thing I thought I would read out just because I thought it was appropriate. It's by a lady called Michaela. She says, lying back on my sofa, I scrolled through Facebook on my phone. On the local Facebook page, there was an advertisement for a laughter therapy workshop just up the road from me. Coming along will be a laugh, the ad said. God knows I needed some more laughter in my life. I struggled with depression since my divorce 4 years ago, and had also become agoraphobic, so much that I found it an enormous challenge just to go to the corner shop to buy milk. You should go to that, Mum said, when I told her about it on the phone. I haven't heard you laugh for a long time. So, even though I didn't know what it involved and couldn't see how it could possibly work, I signed up for the workshop. Right up to the last minute, I was sure I would drop out. I really had to psych myself up to put on some shoes and a coat and to walk down to the community hall. I found myself joining a group of people who looked almost as nervous and wary as me. There was a real mix, a student, a writer, a waiter, a carer, a teacher, and even an entertainer. I smiled anxiously at them, wondering what would happen next. Kathy Hill, who was running the workshop, climbed up onto the stage and beamed at us. She looked like a wispy-haired hippie with sparkling green eyes and giant flowers painted on her van. There was something about her that set me at ease. I'm going to explain the science of laughter, she told us. We learnt that laughter allows our lungs to deep cleanse, as we take in far more oxygen than we do when we're breathing normally. To my amazement, Kathy said that even if you just pretend to laugh, we actually produce the same stress-busting hormones as if we were real laughing. Fake it till you make it, she said. Everything was going well until Kathy lifted out a pair of cardboard cut-out lungs to show how the laughter removes stale air from the oxygen and improves the breathing. Nice pair of lungs, the entertainer whispered next to me. I couldn't help it, a little laugh erupted from me. The giggling spread, and the more we tried to stop it, the worse it got. Sniggers, titters, and then yelps started exploding around the room as we all turned red, lowering our eyes and shaking as we tried to suppress our laughter. But Kathy wasn't offended. See, the magic's working already, she declared, joining in happily. Kathy explained how laughter releases endorphins, which make us feel good and relieve pain and produces pheromones, chemicals which enhance our sexual magnetism, apparently. I didn't read that bit when I read this out earlier. Oh, well, there you go. I must have skipped that bit. Then it was on to the practical part of the workshop. Each body part has its own special laugh designed to help it, she told us, taking us through the laughter chakras. She gave a laugh that corresponded to each of the body's chakras or energy centres, and we had to try and copy it. We started with the root chakra, which was a deep down, dirty laugh. The belly was a ho ho ho, and the heart was more of a ha ha ha, and the throat next was more like a cackle. Next we impersonated animals with an ape-like hoo 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 for the mouth chakra, and a mouse-like hee 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 for the head. Finally we were at the crown chakra, where we raised our arms above our head and did a silent laugh that was very high but an audible pitch. I struggled with some of the sounds. In the tiger exercise, my voice wasn't strong enough to roar very well, and the cackling felt a bit weird. After that, there was more bonding exercises, laughing in turns, gesturing to each other, and sprinkling each other with imaginary laughter dust, and running around impersonating train carriages going woo woo. Sometimes we crashed into each other, reminding me of drunken mod dancing of my youth. But nothing mattered because we were having such a good time. We threw ourselves into the chicken impressions, just like we used to do when we did the birdie song. It was hilarious. The waiter and the carer were sobbing and clutching their sides with the craziness of the whole situation. For the last exercise, we all had to lie on the floor, looking at the ceiling in silence to wind down. But this was the cue for the burst of infantile giggles to start up again, accompanied by one of us, who shall remain nameless, breaking wind. Then we were all off, the whole of us rolling on the floor laughing. Finally, we were all giggled out, and it was time to relax with some drinks and some nibbles. I was chatting to Kathy, who turned out to be an artist and a keen gardener. I discovered that she takes her laughter workshops to festivals such as Small World in Glastonbury, where they were a great hit. As I said goodbye and walked home, I found myself chuckling to myself. I even woke up the next day laughing. I thought that this ecstatic state might be followed by a low, but it wasn't. I did notice that it was quite physically tiring. I felt like I'd done a complete workout, but that it had been a good thing, because exercises are well known, releasing endorphins and happy hormones. As the days passed, it dawned on me that my mood had fundamentally altered. I felt stronger and happier. If I hadn't have attended the workshop when I did, I might have struggled to get through the coronavirus pandemic, but instead it really helped. Like everyone else during lockdown, I was only allowed to leave the house to go to the shops or exercise, but I no longer felt panicky about it. In fact, I actually started looking forward to my daily walks. Now if I'm feeling a bit grumpy and miserable, I force myself to laugh, and before I know it, I'm really, really laughing. Like Kathy said, fake it till you make it. Are you off out again? Mum asked me one day. I gave her a wicked cackle in reply. And I just wanted to read that out because a friend of mine is actually a laughter yoga instructor, and she does that. And she gave me one of my best bits of advice, which is try to laugh at least once every day, even if there's nothing to laugh about. Even if you have to go on YouTube or something and look up your favourite comedian and just watch one of their silly little routines for 5 minutes. Every tiny little bit of laughter will make you feel a little bit better. And sometimes in this world, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, won't you? And it's one of those things where if no one's going to laugh for us, we've got to do it for ourselves. So I just wanted to read that out in this, which is the most depressing month of the year, to remind you to have a laugh, and it's good to let go. I am done. It's up to you to do whatever you want to do.
Thank you. Right. First of all, good evening, friends. It's lovely to be back. It doesn't seem like long ago since, I mean, it was just before Christmas, wasn't it? I was here. And on one hand, I want to forget all about it. It's a long way away, but it's also just still so close as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of still recovering from the Christmas debacle that happened this year. So, but it is lovely to be back, and I did like the laughter thing and the healing as well, because one thing I've noticed, and it just came to me as I was sitting there asking my guide for some inspiration, is that I always get asked, you know, as I'm a Reiki practitioner, I always get asked, you know, does it work? Does Reiki work? Does healing work? Do laughter therapies work? It's something people always ask. We never sit there and say, if somebody cuts me up in a car, is that going to make me feel upset or angry? Of course it does. And it's that energy that passes on to us. So if it can work on the negative and we never question it, why do we question the positive? And I thought that was something really intriguing, just sort of caught my mind. And it's like we never give a second thought to the fact that if somebody's having a bad day, or if somebody says something that's bad, it can rub on us so easily. But then we're really sceptical when it comes to accepting the positive from others. So just a thought that I'll leave you with there. Before I move on, now, for those of you that haven't seen me work before, I'm what's called a clairsentient medium. So I get a feeling of what they are trying to say to me rather than actually hearing them saying it in my ear. If that happens, I think I might run for the door. But what that means is sometimes I interpret it slightly wrong because I'm essentially just a translator, and I might get that translation a little bit wrong. If I do, that's all on me. Spirit are never wrong. But please do let me know if I'm not quite right, because it may be that I'm in the wrong place, it might be my directions are off and I need to be somewhere else. Likewise, if I'm giving a message to somebody and everything I'm saying relates to you, please don't be afraid to let me know, especially if that person's not taking it, because it helps me to know that I'm in the wrong place and I need to perhaps be somewhere else. That being said, hopefully that's not going to happen tonight, and we're going to be spot on.
Positivity.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so I do have a few people moving in. I'm just going to see where I want to go first. I feel like I need to come to Lady in the Blue here. Hello there.
Hi.
What's your name?
Val.
Val. Nice to meet you, Val. Now, I will ask people's names, and that is also just because it really helps for Spirit to hear your voice as well. So, lots of communication from you in the form of yes and no answers is great. Please don't feed me. I don't need it, honestly. Especially after Christmas. But, Val, as I'm linking in with you, I have a gentleman that's moving in here. Now, I want to say this gentleman feels very much like a father-grandfather link, okay? As opposed to an uncle or brother, that sort of thing. It's a different kind of link. Now, I want to say this gentleman, the way he makes me feel is that he was a fairly quiet gentleman, okay? That's not to say that... The way he's making me feel is that he could be in a room and you could almost forget that he was there, but he was very observant of everything that's going on. And there might be something which was so insignificant, but then he'll bring that up like a week later or something, you know, because he was like that. He likes to observe everything. He likes to watch people, and he likes to make observations about people. Okay. And although he was fairly quiet in his nature, he wasn't afraid to make his voice heard when it needed to. Okay. It's very weird because there's a song that keeps coming around me at the moment, which is an old Kate Bush song, Running Up That Hill. Okay. I don't know if you know it, it's quite an old one. But they're talking about running up a hill for you at the moment. Okay, and I don't feel it's literally, I don't think you're out there doing jogging at 6 o'clock every morning, going up and down. But it feels like that there is a bit of a climb as we come out from Christmas for you. It's almost like there is a little bit of a climb for you to get back back to where you're normally used to being, okay? And that feels almost like it is an energy thing. It's like you're a bit drained after everything that's gone on, okay? Which is, I suppose, kind of where we're in that position, I guess. But it's something that Dad's aware of. He's just saying that you're a little bit drained at the moment. Don't try and run up that hill too quickly, though, okay? Because you'll be very keen to get back to where you feel is your level, okay? But he's saying don't try and get there too quickly because you'll fall over. Okay? He doesn't want you falling over. But as he mentions that, I shouldn't really ask, but is Mum over or is Mum still?
No, she's over there.
Mum is over.
Mm-hmm.
Would you understand that she had a fall, quite a bad fall?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just making me aware, he's talking about the fall, he's just making me aware that she had quite a bad fall as well. And it feels like she needed quite a bit of support after that, and you did give her quite a lot of that support. And he's just wanting to come through and to thank you for doing that and for being there for her when she needed you. Just wanted to bring my attention to your knees as well. Feels like the knees have been clicking a bit. Would you understand that? Then just watch out for it.
Okay.
So watch out for it. You're doing a lot of bending at the moment.
No more than usual.
Well, he's making aware there's something that's happening around you that you're having to do a lot of bending at the moment, but you're not. There's something you're not really looking after your knees as you're doing it. You're not looking after yourself properly. Okay, and he's just saying just be aware of that. Okay. As Dad's coming closer to me, the way he wants me to now start to sort of describing him a little bit for you as well. And I want to say he's sort of about my height. Possibly a little bit taller, but not very much
It was
taller.
quite little.
Okay, he was about my height. I'm not very tall. Not quite sure what he's doing this. I don't know if he had hair or whether he's just a joker and he's taking the mick out of me. But he's just put a wig on himself. Just put a little toupee on. I think he's probably taking the mick out of me. Okay. Would you understand though that in the past he would have been quite proud of his hair? He would have been quite pleased with his hair because there was a lot of members in the family that didn't have, on his side, that lost a lot of their hair quite early on, and he's saying, well, I was quite proud of what I had. Let's just talking about that. Now, can you take links into Romford?
No.
No. Then I need to say that there's something about markets with you. You love a market. And if you don't love a market, then it's that you haven't been to one for ages. Because there's something definitely, it's showing you a market, and showing you a big market here. And it's like you need to get out.
No.
Can't say that. Right, I'm gonna go back and ask him what that's about, because I don't like leaving things. If it doesn't feel right, I'd rather revisit it if I can. But at the same time, I know it's been he's talking about buying something, so this is like a significant thing. So you're not looking at moving house, are you?
No, but I've got a lot of decorating to do.
I don't want to make it fit by saying it's decorating. There's something else. I would have a look around, perhaps a car or something like that, because there's going to be something significant that you're going to find you're going to have to change or purchase soon. And he's saying he wants you to look around the market, he wants you to shop around. Don't just settle on the first thing because it seems like a good deal. he wants you to shop around. That's what the marketing is for. I wish I could be a bit more specific with that, but that's what I'm getting from it at the moment. Is he wants you to when it comes up, and it's not going to be a little thing, it's going to be something significant like a car or a house or something like that.
Okay.
Just do a little bit of shopping around before you settle on something. Okay. Now, he wants to take me to March, towards the latter part of March, 25th, 22nd, somewhere around that area, for a significant date, it could be birthday, anniversary, passing. He also wants to take me into October as well, for a significant date as well for you, okay? And I need to give you tulips. Tulips. I need to give you tulips as well, because you just brought that in, asked for a flower, and you just presented a tulip for you, okay? And it's sort of all different colours as well. It's oranges, reds, yellows, there's lots of different colours in these, which for me signifies warmth. He wants to give you a lot of warmth, a lot of comfort, okay? Because it feels like you need a little bit of warmth and comfort in it. As Willow was saying, with the heating bills the way they are at the moment, I think we all need a bit of warmth and comfort. But absolutely lovely man. You just threw in Isle of Wight. I don't know why. You've just thrown in the Isle of Wight as well. So I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to leave that with you. Leave his love with you, and I'll say God bless and thank you for working with me. Okay. Right. First link is always a good place to start. Where we're going to go to. I feel like I need to. Okay, to come to the gentleman over here. Hello, sir.
Hiya.
What's your name?
Darren.
Darren. Nice to meet you, Darren. Now, Darren, I obviously remember you from the last time I was here as well, and I think I don't know if I've got the same person that came through, but I think we had a trouble with the last person that came through because I've got a lady that's coming through for you, but she feels a little bit confused.
Right.
Okay. It's almost like towards the end there would have been some sort of whether it was just general confusion or whether there was something more like Alzheimer's or something like that going on, because she seems very confused about who people are. But that's just to bring that link to make you understand who it is that we've got here, okay? Because it's almost like, well, I'm not sure who people are. Would she have been cared for at home for a while, this lady?
Yeah.
Okay. Because she's making me feel is that she didn't want to leave her home.
Yeah.
And she didn't understand why, if things were like that for a while, why suddenly she's got to leave. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Obviously she's saying that was then. That was then. That cloud has all been lifted from her now,
Right.
okay? And she knows that the course of action was the only course of action that was really appropriate, okay? But that's the way she wanted to just bring herself in so that you was able to know exactly who it's all about, okay? Now, as this lady moves forward, she starts talking about lots of old cars. So I want to say that you owned a few cars over the years. Would that make sense for you?
No more than an average, I suppose. No.
She's talking about some. I'll tell you what she's giving me. She's giving me an old Ford Cortina.
No.
But would there be a significance? Could you understand the significance of the Cortina, though? If it wasn't that you owned one, there would have been one around this lady at some point. Because she's very clear about this old Ford Cortina. Okay.
No, I think it's Ford Cortina.
Would you understand, though, that there is a love of older cars for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that may be why she's showing me that car, but that seems significant. Okay. So I want to say it's that sort of era vehicle is like, there's a bit of passion there for that sort of era vehicle. you understand a changing role work-wise for you?
I understand changing role, but that's the way. Possibly.
Okay. Because what I'm getting here is that there is an opportunity for you, and it does feel like you're aware of it, to venture into a different pathway from where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And what she's saying is you like to overthink everything.
Yeah.
Okay? She's saying you like to overanalyze everything, and at times it's like she wants to say, oh, come on, just get on with it. It's like you've looked at it, you know it's the right decision, and then you start doubting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, just go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Okay? She wants you to go ahead, push forward, and take that thing. She says it's going to take you a bit out of your comfort zone. Okay? She says it will take you a bit out of your comfort zone, but for you that's a good thing because you get too comfortable, she says.
Yeah.
Okay? So you get too comfortable. Now, I don't understand a dog that ran off.
Yeah.
Okay, because she's just talking about the dog running away.
Yeah.
Okay. She doesn't really want to say too much about it. She's just saying, oh, do you remember the dog ran off?
Yeah, I remember several of them
Okay.
ran off. She's talking about somebody eating dog biscuits. Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. Just wanted to bring that up.
Curiosity, no?
I'm going to take that taste out of my mouth.
Someone's got to taste it to make sure it tastes like beef, haven't they?
Don't.
She just brought it up, and it's like, the way she's saying it, it was like a bit of a party trick, you know, you just dig out a dog bone and just bite a bit off. Okay. Right. Now, the reason she wants to talk about food is because she wants to talk about your eating at the moment.
Right.
Okay. She's saying your appetite has dropped a little bit.
No.
No?
No.
Then it must be the complete opposite. I'm obviously getting that slightly wrong. Okay.
You're right in a certain way, but no.
There is something to do with you not eating. I want to. You become much more of a picker.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you'll grab things throughout the day rather than, like, you will sit down and have a meal, but you'd rather just pick at things throughout the day. Okay. And it's almost like the things that you're picking at aren't always the best choices.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's just saying, you know, try and eat a bit more healthier. I don't know why you're doing that. I'm going to tell you what she's just done. She's just put peas on a spoon and flicked them at you.
Close.
Okay. Not sure what that's all about,
Yeah, it's close.
but I'm going to give it to you because that's what she's done. Okay. See, it's so hard to keep your mind out of it because then you want to kind of get in and go, what was that all about? But no, that's your own message. Now, okay, right. People come to you a lot with things because they know that message is theirs and it's whatever's going on, they can come and talk to you and they know that it's not going to be, you're not going to be telling everyone else their business. Okay? It's a really weird way of them bringing that in. you have a problem with speech towards the end as well?
Not really sure. No, that's
Because it's like my words aren't coming, whether that's part of the Alzheimer's or something, I don't know, but it's like my words won't form properly. Okay. She's saying, but you sometimes form your words before your brain engages as well. It's like they come out here before they've had time to process through here. So she's saying in that sense, right, okay. So somebody is either recently come to you with a thing, a problem, a situation, or they're going to very soon, and it's something where you need to think about what you say to them before you say it to them. Are you aware of that situation at the moment?
Not at the moment.
Okay, then keep an eye out for it, because it's almost like you want to rush to give them the right advice or to say the right thing to them, but there is a possibility that you could say the wrong thing by trying to do the right thing. So she's saying, just have a think about it first before you say it. Okay. Now, it's an old TV advert, and I cannot remember what it. I think it was for McCain oven fries or something. You know, they're in the van and they're saying, "No, it's chips, it's chips." Do you remember that?
I remember the advert.
She's just started putting that advert and that song into my head. So I think what she's saying is she wants you to eat less fast food here, less.
Don't really eat that much. I need chips in a day with the word day in it.
Any day ending in a Y, yeah?
Yeah.
So she just brought that in as well, okay. I don't know why she's being simple. She's saying it was, what she's saying, if she sent you to school with fruit, you'd play football with it. Do you understand what she's saying there?
No, I'm a little bit lost on that one.
Okay. I don't think you eat a lot of fruit. It's not sort of, you know.
I'm not sure I did fruit that way.
But so that's where she's going with that, is that fruit was never a big thing for you. She would try, but it wasn't really a thing for you.
I don't know.
Okay.
The local strawberry farmer might have something to say about that.
What she's making me feel is that you've changed a lot from when you were younger, though. I know we all do, but she's saying when you was particularly towards the end of your secondary school days, let's say you weren't necessarily the best behaved person.
Quite possibly.
And she's saying she's really proud of the way that you've matured over the years. She's really proud of that, because there was a period of time when not only her but a few other people were quite worried about you, and the way that you've been able to adjust and turn that around, she's very proud of. She wants to let you know that. She also wants to say that there was somebody from outside of the family that also provided a lot of care for her. Okay, somebody that would have helped you in caring, and that doesn't mean like physical care. This feels more like decisions and doing little bits and pieces, not actually sort of getting hands on. Would you understand that?
I'll have to think of that one.
Okay, because she wants to pass thanks on to that person as well.
Okay.
But they worked closely with you over a lot of the bigger decisions that had to be made. Okay, and she just wants to acknowledge the fact that there was quite a lot of, I don't mean literal mess, but there was a lot of mess to deal with at the end when she passed, there was a lot of loose ends that needed tidying up and things that needed doing, and she just wants to give her thanks for all of that as well. Okay. So with that, I'm going to ask her for something nice for you, and she's given me a sunflower.
Right, okay.
Okay. She's given me a big sunflower to give to you, so I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to leave her love with you. Say God bless and thank you for working.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, right. Okay, she's a lovely lady. I didn't really want to move from her because she's so gentle in her ways, so nice. Right, let's see where we're going to. I need to come. Just before I do that, is there anyone that's not been to anything like this before? Should have asked that earlier. A couple of people. You haven't been to any sort of spiritual event before? No. Okay. So, I should have touched on this earlier, sorry. If I do come to you, what I want to make sure is that you, sometimes we'll have a particular person in mind that we want to hear from, but it may not be that person, because it's not always the person that you want to hear that will come through, but it's the person that you need to hear from, even if you don't necessarily realise that you need to hear from that person yourself at that time, okay? So I just wanted you to keep that in mind, and the reason is because I knew I had to come to somebody that hasn't been before, okay? And I think I need to come to you, so if I may. Okay, what's your name?
Brian.
Brian. Nice to meet you, Brian. Brian, as I think with you, would you understand, now I need to put this as a mum figure that's in spirit, please. So it's be either mum or grandmum.
Okay.
Okay. Now, would there be concerns around mum's health at the moment?
Possibly.
Okay, because that's what this feels like. It feels like this lady's coming through to say there are concerns around mum at the moment.
He is not close to her though.
Okay. Right. Brian, as this lady comes through, she makes me feel like there wouldn't have been a great connection between you and her. Does that make sense? That it wouldn't be like you were there every weekend and then you were growing. Would you understand that? It wasn't like a close connection with Grandma. Okay. Now, the other thing I need to say is if as we go through there's anything that you don't want to talk about or you'd rather like to bring a particular person through, please don't feel anything about saying I don't want to talk about that or I don't want to hear from this person, and we'll just move away from that. Okay, that's not an issue. But I do need to say that she's referencing that things have been quite difficult for you over the years. Okay? She's saying that you had a pretty rough start in life, is what she's saying. Okay? It was a bit tricky, a bit rocky. And there was a lot of people that there should have been support there, that there wasn't. And you kind of had to just build your shoulders up and take a lot of it on and deal with it yourself. Does that make sense for you? Now the reason she's saying that is because she's saying that has put you in a good position going forward, because you've built that sort of resilience up, you've built that strength up, that you can take things on and you can handle them. Okay, and what she wants you to know is that at the moment you need a bit of strength. You need a lot of strength right now. Okay, and she's saying that you have that within you in abundance. You've got so much within you. You just need to almost find yourself again. It's almost like you've got a little bit lost and you just need to find that strength within you again. Do you understand? Okay. And what she's saying is that not only do you have that strength, but you have support around you now as well, support that you didn't have before. Okay. And she wants you to take that forward. Can I give you a recent passing, please?
Try.
It feels like somebody's passed recently. She's talking about somebody that would have passed within the last 6 months. No.
Oh, maybe. A friend.
Okay. Because it felt like she's saying, what she's saying to me is that there is somebody that's passed within the last 6 months that she has with her, that sort of she's trying to encourage them. They want to come and just say hello. Okay. And she's trying to encourage them forward. Okay. Because sometimes I believe we come to the earth several times. We don't just come once, we come here to learn different lessons. And we pass back to spirit and we'll come again, and pass back again. That's my personal belief. And this feels like this spirit, this is perhaps their first time, or they haven't been through this cycle many times, because they need that little bit of guidance to come forward. Some people come through, I've had people come through and give a message like hours after they've passed. But this person feels like they needed a bit more help and a bit more encouragement to come forward. Okay. I need to give you quite a lot of change in your life at the moment as well. It's like there's been quite a big change going on around you at the moment. It's been a bit of an upheaval. Things have been changing around. You can't understand that. Just going to double check that I'm with you. You can't take any of that I said, can you? No, so I'm definitely with you. I did feel like I was there, but you know, men's directions are terrible for them. I just wanted to double check. I can't change that. It does feel like there's been something, that there has been a bit of an adjustment period. There's been a bit of a change recently. I'm talking within the last sort of 4 weeks. That there's been something where there has been something to adjust to. Okay, just have a think on it. Sometimes we don't think of things straight away. It may come later. Okay, but the key point to come from that is that you are on the right path with the way that you're going now. Okay, with that change, that they're happy that the decisions that you made around that were correct. Okay, and it will come to you. I know it will come to you later on, and you'll remember, and then you'll remember it was. Okay. I want to put musical instruments around you. Do you understand why they wanted to put musical instruments around you? It's like almost like you play, or you have played, not necessarily professionally, but you have played. Would you understand that?
I work in the music industry.
You work in the music industry.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's good enough for me. Okay. Because I knew music was significant, and instruments. It's almost like I wanted to build up a piece of music. You know, I wanted to start with a guitar and then add drums and then and build everything up. And it's about bringing this whole piece together. Okay. And that's also significant from a life point of view as well, because it's like you've had to pull bits in from different areas and build it all together as your own sort of band almost of life, and to create a family rather than have this sort of pre-built one. Does that make sense? You've had to kind of almost create your own family of friends and not necessarily blood relatives, but people you would classify as family. Okay. Now, I also need to give you there would have been a birthday in December as well. Okay. So I need to give you a birthday that would have been in December. I also need to bring you into April as well for another birthday. Birthday coming up in April. And an anniversary of somebody's passing in late August as well, please. Have a think on it. It may well come to you. But if it's not late August, it's very, very early September, because it is that very late block there. Okay. I also need to say to you that there's an eye test due as well, because they're just making me aware of something with the eyes. That's not saying there's anything wrong, but I'm just saying, would you understand that there is a test due? Okay, so just say again, just make sure you get that booked in. Someone get down, but so just okay. I have no idea what this means, but I have to. I tend to ask for like a flower or something like that to leave you with. In this case, they give me a flamingo. No idea why, but I'm going to give you a flamingo.
Okay.
If you don't know, look out for it. And when you find it, you'll know that this person is around you a lot, because they are around you a lot. As I said, it does feel like a grandmother sort of link. So you'll know that she's always around. Okay, I'm going to leave her up with you. So
Thank you.
thank you for working on this. Right, okay, where are we going to go to? Here comes the lady here, hello.
Hello.
Hi, hello. What's your name?
Yvonne.
Yvonne. Nice to meet you, Yvonne. Now, Yvonne, I haven't spoke to you before about doing spiritual work, have I?
No.
Okay, would you understand why I need to speak to you about doing spiritual work?
Sort of. Yeah.
Sort of. Okay, that means yes. Lovely. Okay, because I feel that there is involvement for you in the spirit world. Okay, and you're fully aware of that involvement. You
Yes.
know what that's all about. It feels like I've been teaching Jamie Oliver to cook. That makes sense. Okay. But I also, this is almost a bit philosophical almost, really. What they're saying to me is, as you know, with spiritualism, it's a way of life. And it's very easy, and I think this is relating to something that's going on, but it's none of my business, obviously. It's very easy when somebody wrongs us, or somebody does something, or we have a falling out with somebody. It's very easy to go down that pathway of it's harder to turn the other cheek. Okay, it's harder to turn the other cheek, especially when they're saying things that might not be very nice about us. It's very difficult to say, well, that's their problem. It's very easy to retaliate and to say, oh, well, they did this, or they said this, or they did this wrong. It's a lot harder to bite your tongue and say nothing, even though in the long run you'll come out looking the better person for doing so. Does that make sense for me?
Not really. No.
Okay. Well, it's something you need to keep in mind then, okay? Because you can't take a situation where somebody's been a little bit negative with me. If you can't, please do look out for it, because it feels like it's quite a bad energy from this person. And as we know, people aren't always what we believe them to be, okay? And so it's just almost like a little caution. It's a little thing of saying, just be careful, because they may turn things around on you and try and make you look like a bad person when it's actually them. And they just want you to remember your spiritual inner being. Okay. Now, I also need to talk to you about driving. Would you know why we need to talk about driving?
I don't drive.
No.
Well, not a car anyway.
Okay. Very cryptic. Very cryptic. Okay. But there's something about driving though. There is something about driving, because they're just saying to me about driving. I'm sure you don't ride a bike or anything like that, do you?
I've got a mobility scooter.
That's what I was thinking of. I don't want to go that way. I don't want to go that way. What I need to say really is that somebody, there has been a close call. Do you understand? Some drivers have not been very patient with you.
Not for a while. Eh? No.
Okay. It just feels like there's something that somebody's not being very patient, and
using the opposite, I'm stopping at the goals get past.
Yeah, there's something with an impatient driver around your ability scooter, but that's not saying anything drastic is going to happen.
No.
Just be careful. Just be careful. Okay. I'm not liking that, so I'm going to try and ask for somebody. There's a lot of spiritual messages coming through, and a lot of like they want you to be careful. They do want you to. Are you in a circle?
No.
I need to put you in a circle.
I tried it once and wasn't comfortable with it.
I do need to put you back into a circle, though. I think it may be a case of perhaps at that point in time, there may be people that weren't gelling with properly or something, but I feel like that might be different now. Might be something to revisit for you. Okay. I do need to give you a gentleman that comes forward with lots and lots of love. Okay. And now I do feel like this gentleman. Do you understand husband in spirit?
Yes.
Okay. Because he comes through with so much love, so much adoration, that I knew we were going down that line. Okay. Would you understand this gentleman being quite well travelled?
Maybe in England.
Yeah. He didn't like to. He liked to go around and see different things. He didn't just like to stay put. He would like to go around.
Well, before he met me, yes, he was
So,
going to
yeah.
like that.
Okay. Because he's saying that he wants to put that bit of adventure, that spirit of adventure into you at the moment, because it feels like you need that little bit of excitement, that little bit of not knowing what's around the next corner. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So it's almost like things have got a little bit mundane, and it's just like he wants you to get out there and just explore new things. Okay. Which may well be where the circle fits in as well. It's about exploring new things and pushing the boundaries of what you're used to, just to get you to experience a bit more of life. Okay. He says your experiences have been very varied. You've done quite a lot of things over the years, but there's so much more for you to experience, he's saying. He wants you to have this really full and rich life. Okay. So we're talking about motorhomes, and caravan holidays and things like that. So you haven't not been looking at a caravan holiday?
No. I did one last year, but...
You did one last year? Okay, that's what I was talking about then. The reason being is because it's almost like he wants you to take yourself away. He wants you to get away for a bit, okay? And it feels like that would be somewhere that he would have enjoyed going with you, and he wants to take you sort of back there now, if that makes sense. So it's something that he wants you to certainly have a look at, you know. I need to give you July as being a significant number, please.
Yes.
Okay. This is really strange because I gave this to somebody else the other day as well. Just presented a little gold carriage clock.
Yes.
Okay. And this feels like it's on a mantelpiece or something. This gold carriage clock.
It was.
It was. Okay. And the reason they bring that in is just to remind us that time is precious. Okay. And he says there's no point sitting there thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. Just, we never know what's around the corner. We never know what's around the corner, so he wants you to do that. He wants you to do baking.
I don't do cooking.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's having a laugh about baking then, because he's just started bringing. See why? What he started doing, he started getting all these little pies, like he's bringing pies out of the oven, like apple pies and blackcurrant pie and all these little things you're just pulling out the oven. So I think you must be having a bit of a laugh about your cooking then, okay? He's talking about you going round in a circle at the moment as well.
Yes.
And it's something where you feel like you've been going round in a circle a little bit. It's time to get off that track. To make it stop, get off that track. But there's something that you need to do to make that. Okay. Right, I'm going to leave you something. Before I leave you, he does want to give you a single white rose.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a single white rose. Let's say God bless. Thank you. Fantastic. Now, let's see. I think I need to come to the lady here. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Caroline.
Caroline. Nice to meet you, Caroline. Caroline, as I'm linking in with you, I feel like I've got somebody here, and I feel like I've got a gentleman here at the moment, and this gentleman wouldn't have liked standing still. He would have always liked to have been doing something. He wouldn't want to just sit in a chair and do nothing. Can you understand a gentleman like that so far? If you can't, just say no. Okay. The reason I say that is because this gentleman also makes me feel like I want to walk up here and actually talk to you, you know, come around and talk to you rather than being back here. Because he would like to have been somebody that would have, when he communicated with somebody, he would like to have been more direct with you. Would you understand that? He wouldn't want to be discussing things in an open place. He would like to talk more directly one-on-one. And this, again, this feels like father-grandfather links. You can't take that, okay. I'm going to check the gentleman here. I'm not with you with this gentleman, am I, sir? You understand a gentleman that would be very much not like to sit still. And if he had something to say, he wouldn't want to discuss it in public, he'd want to come and talk to you one-on-one. Because that's the way he believed in talking to people. He wouldn't want to say things in a public setting.
Sort of jumps to mind.
No, I do feel I'm with you, Karen. Karen, can you take links into Chelmsford?
Yes.
Okay, so I am with you. Thank you. I am definitely with you. So let's see if we can figure out who this gentleman is then for you. He does very much feel like father, grandfather, but of course that can go back several generations because they will stay within that that energy stream. Now this gentleman, he would have been somebody that would have been quite organised in his life. He wouldn't have liked to have had things out of place. There would have been a box for everything, almost. It would have been very sorted and very organised. Can you understand?
Maybe.
Okay. I also want to say this gentleman, he would have been a bit taller than myself. He probably would have been about this sort of height, is what he makes me feel. Slimmer than myself as well. Always very well presented.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Would you understand links into Oxford? Because this gentleman feels like he would have spent some time in Oxford as well.
No.
And I think that would have been military related. I think this gentleman might be a bit too far back.
Huh?
I think he may be going too far back within the family for you to be able to grasp who he is.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll move straight forward to why he's coming in. Okay. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes, you know, there's great grandfathers and things that are watching down on us, and we have no idea who they are, but they certainly know us. Okay. Now, but do you understand why he's talking about you changing the way? There's lots of different sort of health kicks and food things and diets and stuff going on. Would you understand that you've recently changed a diet thing? You've recently changed. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's very much aware that that's happened. Okay. I'm just asking him for further evidence that I am actually with you. Okay. And he would not have understood any of it. He said, I don't get it. It's so far removed from where his time was. He said,
Right.
I don't get it. We just ate what we had and we were fine.
Yeah.
We were fine, we survived. And would you understand that change has actually been related to a health issue that's encouraged that change?
Yes.
Okay. And as much as he's saying he doesn't get it, he's saying, but he knows that it is also the right thing as well. He understands that it is the right thing and it is going to make a difference for you.
Yeah.
Okay, it is going to make a difference for you. He also talks about having a noticeable change in your eyes as well, like things are getting a little bit more blurry. Would you understand that?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, because he's talking about that as well. I'm just asking him for further things to link in with you, and he's saying there has been this noticeable change recently as well. Okay. He's also been talking about sometimes there's been a little bit of breathlessness. Not all the time, but now and again, it's almost like just, ooh.
I'm not sure.
It would be a very fleeting thing. Just watch out for it, because you might notice it and then you'll know definitely this gentleman is with you and he's watching over you. Okay, he's watching over you. He's talking about as well, I don't think I understand, because I'm asking him how he links in, and he's talking about there being 4 children. So, would you understand how 4 children would link in?
No.
Okay, you might need to look back then, because I think once you find those 4 children in the family, you'll find out who this gentleman is. Okay, he's just bringing in family trees as well. Actually, somebody's researching the family tree, or has done research within the family tree.
Somebody did, I think, a very long time ago, but I've never seen it.
Okay, because I feel like that would help. That would help you to identify who this gentleman
No,
is.
no.
Okay, and he's saying that there are people aware of him because they did this family tree. Okay. Do you understand there's been talk of a new TV? Somebody's been thinking about a new TV, and it's like there's nothing wrong with the old one, but they're thinking about a new one.
No one's told me that.
Ask. It's very close to home.
Oh, right.
Okay, feels like it's very close to home. And again, this is just other things that I've asked them to come through, just to give to you, so that you can go and verify
Yeah.
that this person actually is a part of your family. Okay. Would you understand that there has been also a health issue here, that it's like, I don't know if it's the same one related to the diet or not, but there's been something that's been ongoing for some time, and it's like they can't seem to get to the bottom of it.
No. I don't know.
If that's not with you, then there's somebody very closely linked around you that has that, because again, he's making me aware this is very closely linked within the family. There's somebody that has something that's being investigated, but it's like they can never get to the bottom of what is actually going on. keep an eye out for that. I'm not aware of it. Don't worry about it too much. Don't worry about it too much. The main thing that this person's coming forward to is because they wanted to come forward because you have asked in the past for evidence of people, of loved ones in spirit. And he's coming forward because he's saying you get people come forward a lot. You've experienced that. And it's like he's coming forward to add a new dimension to it, to show you that there are not just the immediate ones, but there are also ones a little bit more removed that are also still around and watching what's going on. And it's sort of just saying, yeah, we're here too. Okay. Now, I need to talk to you about tarot.
Tarot.
Yes. Now, I'm taking it you've not really thought about tarot.
As in those cards.
Tarot cards,
Oh.
yes. Okay. Because it's almost like you need to go and have a tarot reading. That's what they're saying, is that you need to go and have a tarot reading.
Willow, do you do tarot?
I do indeed.
There
There you go.
That's
So
lovely.
you can set that up then. Okay. Because it feels like it's another area that you haven't looked into. And I think this is what this gentleman's all about, actually. It's all about bringing in things that are outside of what you normally think about. So when you normally think about spirit, you may normally think about immediate family. And this is saying, well, no, actually, there's these other things that you haven't thought about. And it's the same with the tarot. There's just another part that you may not necessarily have thought about. Okay? Now, I do need to give you an all-butter croissant. Okay? I don't know why, but I need to give that to you.
Making us hungry tonight, isn't it? He's got chips, you got croissants.
Dog biscuits.
Dog
yeah.
biscuits, yeah.
Dog biscuits, can't forget them.
Weirdly enough, I'll leave those, thanks. I'm not really that peckish.
Try them.
I accidentally ate a cat biscuit once.
Okay. Right, on that note, along with the croissant, I do also need to give you strawberry bonbons. Sorry, more foodstuffs. I need to give you strawberry bonbons as well, but that will be as a memory link. Okay?
It rings a bell. I can't think
Yeah.
why.
Don't worry, just think on it. It will come to you. It will come to you. We'll give you that as well. I'm going to leave this up with you and just say, broaden your horizons. That's what this is about. It's about broadening your horizons and finding out these new things. Because there's a lot there for you.
You can squeeze a tiny one in if you
We
want
can
to. Squeeze a tiny one in, yeah, but you don't have to.
There's so many that I need
I know.
to come to. I'm going to come to the lady here. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Nikki.
Nikki. Hello, Nikki. Nikki, as I'm linking in with you, what I want to say is I've got a lovely lady that's coming forward here. Okay. Now this lady almost feels like there would have been an issue with her lower back, because it's almost like she wants to stoop a little bit because it eases the pain. Not because she needs to, but because it's like it eases the pain a bit. Now, if that's not her back, then it's yours.
Okay.
Would that make sense?
Not really, no.
Then it's got to be hers.
Okay.
Okay. This lady, as she comes in, I want to say she again feels a very similar height to me, and she would have had, she would have been a fond lover of curlers. She would have always had curlers in.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know who we're talking about?
Yeah. I think so.
Wonderful. Okay. Now, as this lady comes in, I get the really strong smell of hair lacquer as well, because it's like she sprays hair lacquer, and it's not just a little bit. You go in, and as soon as you walk through the front door, that's all you can smell is the hair lacquer. You know? There are flies mid-buzz just frozen from the hair lacquer. Okay. And that's how you knew she was around, because as soon as she came into a room, you would know. Even if you didn't see her, you'd know she was there. Okay. Now she's coming in because she brings in whole warmth, a big family energy. She was a massive family person, and it's almost like she was the kingpin in the family. When she passed, things split away.
Yeah.
Okay. And what she's saying is that you are like that as well, within your own network. You are almost like a linchpin for a lot of people, okay? And she wants you to encourage them to form connections amongst themselves more, because there are lots of people that have connections with you but not necessarily with each other within the family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And she just wants you to encourage those other connections as well. Okay. Now she's talking about making bread, so I don't know if you make bread, because she's talking about. We understand that you've been trying to find ways of lowering costs and stuff at the minute.
Yeah.
Because she's saying, make some bread. She wants you to make bread. So she'll love it. Make bread. Although I'd get a bread maker because I'm lazy. I wouldn't sit there doing the one. Bread maker, they don't do it. Close enough, right? She's also saying, and again, giving me a lot of eyes today as well. She's talking about, with you, there's been some issues with your eyes when you're watching programs or using computers, things like that, that there has been some issues with your eyes. You've been getting sort of things floating around and like tiredness in your eyes. Okay? So she's just saying, just look after them. Just look after them a bit. Okay? She's also mentioning buying new shoes. She's talking about buying new shoes as well. Would you understand you've been looking at shoes?
Yeah.
Okay. She's saying you want to start lowering costs. Hello. Okay. Some people do dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because she's just making me want to do that. That's not a good idea. I'll fall over and fall flat on the floor. But she's just talking about that as well. She's really proud of them. Okay. So I don't know if they're doing this sort of professionally or semi-professionally or doing competitions, whatever. If they're not, they certainly should be looking at it. Okay. Because it feels like there's a passion here in dancing. Now, I'm going to take you to January for a birthday. Don't worry, it's not immediate, it's there.
Okay.
It's there. There's January for a birthday. I also need to take you into May.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, you just got the January one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's her.
Oh, okay. That could have been awkward, couldn't it? I do need to take you to May for a birthday as well, please. I also need to take you into November as being a significant month. Doesn't necessarily feel like a birthday, but there will be a significance in November as well. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to leave you with, just because we've had lots of food already, so why not finish it off?
Bring a roast dinner in as well.
She stole it. You stole it.
Sorry.
I'll give you a roast dinner.
It's because I was linking in two and I wasn't meaning to.
Okay. Just because you're saying you haven't had a roast dinner like you used to really enjoy them, and it's like you haven't had one for ages, and she wants you to have one of the old traditional ones. Okay. So I'm going to leave her love with you as well. I'm going to say God bless. I'm going to thank all of you for working with me this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to say don't get comfortable because I'm going to make you close now, aren't I? Because I'm awkward.
That's fine. So, friends, if you'd like to then join me if you wish to in a brief closing prayer. Dear Father God, Spirit guides and helpers, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to work again in this wonderful sanctuary, for the chance to come together as like-minded souls and to share in the proof of life after life, to share in the messages of love, of inspiration and of the continuation of the human soul. I'd like to ask that a cloak of protection be placed around every person present here this evening and that you guide us safely on our journeys until we meet again. As I ask the veil between the two of us to be closed and that the doors of this centre remain open forevermore for those who need it. Amen.
Thank you. I'm just going to check when our next one is. I believe it's the 3rd of February, but do not quote me on it. I'm waiting for my calendar to open. I do know that our next medium is Effie. Yep, 3rd of February. That's my dad's birthday. He's going to be happy that I'm here, isn't he? And we have the lovely Effie Rogers with us because she's lovely and brilliant and great.
No crocheting.
I know, she'll tell me off if I crochet. She'll sit there moaning at me. 282. Who has 282?
Oh yeah.
So you're going to change that over when the mum's on it to stop the need to go down, or there's other wires coming in from somewhere. I did wonder if I was on my next door neighbour's
Yeah, you're always doing both, aren't you?
Yvonne,